Hi, my name is Lauren Gammons, and I'm going to be the audience member for Jared Cameron's speech today.
Alright, today we're going to go ahead and talk about fixed-wing aircraft, more specifically C-12. As we know it in the military. In the civilian world they call it a Super King Air 200. I picked this aircraft because comparatively to others it's pretty simple, and I felt it would be easy for me to use this aircraft to describe just some general characteristics about a fixed-wing aircraft and just a couple general systems. This topic it can be a little boring, but aviation is a passion of mine and I chose it. So hopefully after this speech you'll walk away a little bit more knowledgeable about a fixed-wing aircraft and just its general characteristics. First I wanted to talk about just the dimensions of this aircraft. The C-12's wingspan is 54 feet 6 inches, and the length is 43 feet 10 inches, and the height is 14 feet 10 inches. There's many different reasons why knowing these measurements is important, but the most common one is there may be some bad weather or a long period of time where you're not flying this aircraft and you want to put it in a hangar. And usually hangars are pretty cluttered, so you pretty much just want to know your aircraft size down to the inch as far as fitting it in different places. This aircraft is a Class 2 aircraft, which means it's extremely sensitive to weight and balance. That pretty much means you want to be extremely careful as far as not exceeding takeoff weights, landing weights, zero fuel waste, and you want to be careful as to how you distribute weight in the aircraft. This aircraft's takeoff weight is 13,500 pounds, and its landing weight is 12,500 pounds. The landing weight is extremely important as far as impact. You could have a good pilot flying the plane, but there's always going to be some sort of pressure on impact, and if you are overweight, it can be extremely negatively detrimental to the landing gear, structurally to the landing gear. That's just something that you always want to be paying attention to. The cabin of this aircraft is extremely diverse. There's so many different configurations. The basic mission of this aircraft is transporting passengers and or light cargo. So if you don't have a full berth of passengers, you can just go ahead and tear out all the seats and everything and just strap down a whole bunch of cargo. Like I said, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You could have 3 seats, 4 seats, 2 seats and some cargo. You can switch it up. Like I said, the capabilities of the cabin configurations are endless. The next thing I want to go ahead and talk about was the aircraft lighting. Like on this aircraft, like I said, it's pretty basic comparatively to other aircraft. The exterior lighting, you have your lower beacon strobe and your tail beacon strobe. It's pretty much just for recognition, and you all actually have recognition lights as well on the wings. There are 2 white lights on the tip of each wing, and then you have your positional lights. It's kind of like boats. You have a red one on the left wing and a green one on the right wing. You obviously have your landing lights, and that's pretty self-explanatory, and your taxi lights. It's self-explanatory as well. Lots of people probably don't know what these are. They're called wing ice check lights, and basically when you're at high altitudes and you're flying through weather, condensation, snow, all kinds of weather can build up on the leading edge of the wing, and that can pretty much deteriorate the aerodynamics of the aircraft, and especially at night or when you're in bad weather, it's darker, and you want to be able to check that to make sure that's not happening, and if it is, it needs to be taken care of immediately. You also have on the outside, you also have a emergency light towards the air stair door, and you also have over the right wing an emergency light on the exterior of the aircraft for the emergency escape hatch. The interior lighting is pretty basic. The cabin's lighting is down the aisle on the roof, and you also have lights for reading. And then you have your emergency lights, which one is right in front of the escape hatch on the interior of the aircraft, and one of them is by the air stair door. And then you have a threshold light for if you're flying at night to make sure you're careful walking up the steps of the aircraft. The other thing I wanted to talk about was aircraft systems. I just wanted to touch on just two basic aircraft systems. The first one is landing gear. In this aircraft, it has tricycle style, just basic tricycle style landing gear. It's electrically operated and hydraulically actuated, which basically means you flip a switch in the cockpit, and through a series of circuits, it electrically turns on the motor that runs the hydraulic actuators, which in turn extend and retract the landing gear. In this aircraft, it's just run off a 28 volt DC motor, and then the nose gear is connected to that motor through duplex chains, which is similar to like a chain on your bicycle, and in turn that creates it, lets it retract or extend. The other just basic aircraft system I wanted to talk about was oxygen system, of course. This aircraft has it's not exactly airliner style, but it's pretty close. It has the 49 cubic foot cylinder behind the pressure bulkhead in the cargo section of the aircraft. It's charged 1850 plus or minus 50 psi. It's 100% aviators breathing oxygen. It's distributed throughout the cabin and up to the cockpit. The pilot's masks are a little more complicated than the passenger's masks. They have built-in radio and they cover the entire face. The passenger's masks are more or less like airliner style. They just a little yellow cup with the adjusting straps. There's 3 dispensers and then 2 single units in the back, one for first aid and then one for the lavatory seat. They dispense about 9 inches down from the ceiling, and if you're above 12.5 and there's an emergency, crack in the window, pressurization problem, they will pop on their own. Otherwise, there's an override switch in the cockpit. Like I said, I just wanted to touch on a couple general characteristics of a fixed-wing aircraft, and the C-12 specifically was an easy aircraft to use. I hope, as boring as this topic is a little bit, I hope you'd learn something, and if you are interested, here is a picture of a C-12. It's fairly small, like I said. See it? And as I said, hopefully you walked away and you're a little bit more familiar with just general characteristics of a fixed-wing aircraft. And that's it. Thank you very much.